Hi guys, it's MC Seeker of Truth, and as promised, I'm back for a part 2 on the Mandela Effect. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch it. I did pull together some of my what I thought the most mind-blowing examples of the Mandela Effect. The reason why I thought it was worth looking into, because I was mystified by some of these examples. So it's well worth looking into part 1, but also I looked into the origins of where Mandela Effect came from. Not only that, the possible descriptions of what you could call the Mandela Effect is, but also the theorized reasons behind why people experience the Mandela Effect. Some of the more mundane reasonings, like mass misrememberings of certain aspects of things. That all these people are just misremembering that rich Uncle Pennybags here, he didn't in fact have a monocle ever. I mean, that's one of the examples that just blew my mind, did not make sense. Among some of the others was Snow White, when they say mirror, mirror on the wall. Actually, in the film that we watched as children, I never read the books. Just in the film, it was magic mirror on the wall.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
And that just did not make sense. Other examples, Darth Vader didn't say, Luke, I am your father. He said, no, I am your father.
He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. It's not true.
No. It is not true. That is not true. It was, Luke, I am your father. It was not, no, I am your father. E.T. didn't say, E.T. phone home. He said, E.T. home phone.
E.T. home phone.
And there's just so many that don't, just didn't add up for me. In Star Trek, they never said, Captain Kirk never, ever said, beam me up, Scotty. He said variations of the term, Scotty, beam me up. He never said that. I mean, that just blew my mind. It's just so massive in pop culture that how could that be?
What is it, Terry?
Give me one. Beam me up, Scotty. Just
No.
one. Come on.
All right, here it comes. Ready?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's Henry's thing. Captain Kirk never said, beam me up, Scotty.
Do you know that people all over the world in every language who watch Star Trek have said, beam me up, Scotty?
I never said, Scotty, beam me up. Two to beam up. I mean, everything else but beam me up, Scotty. Nobody ever said, beam me up, Scotty.
He's never actually said, beam me up, Scotty.
And one of the biggest ones for me is I loved the James Bond movies when I was younger. And in the one with the villain Jaws, the film Moonraker, at the end of the movie, the huge villain Jaws, he meets a woman and falls in love. And, it's one of the big end pieces to the whole film that brings it all together. It's a great film. But he meets this woman, Dolly. And, Jaws, if you haven't seen the movie, the whole idea behind him is he's this massive brute villain that has metal teeth. Very devastating metal teeth that can bite through, pretty much anything. And he meets this woman, Dolly, at the end. And he falls in love as she smiles at him and has a mouthful of metal. She has braces. Well, apparently she never did. And that was another thing that just blew my mind. What? Are you serious? Look, I mean, this one just is like, this is wrong. This was not real. Like the whole premise of her having braces, made the whole scene make sense. That's, why he fell in love with her. I just can't get over this one, right? And apparently I'm not the only one who thinks this.
Apparently, they have pointed out that there were some discussions between people on very old forums from back in 2001 where the people were actively discussing Dolly's braces, suggesting this conversation took place before this supposed shift. They also found old websites that have character descriptions of Dolly having braces, while the picture next to it clearly doesn't show that anymore. Some have even pointed out the countless parodies done on this scene, and the most notable one for me was the one where Richard Kiel is starring as Jaws, and at the end of the commercial it turns out a chick is wearing braces. Was this meant to parody the scene in Moonraker, or was this just a funny commercial?
Anyway, go watch part 1. There's lots of things in there that are just crazy, including some of the images behind me here. But, so when I did part 1, I found it really interesting, and I found that a lot of people were really interested in this topic, and lots of people asked for a second part, and I know it's been a long time. I'm sorry, but I got here eventually. So this time, obviously, I've already covered the possible reasons people think this is happening, where it's come from. So I'm just gonna jump in, and I'm gonna share with you some more mind-blowing Mandela effects. Okay, I think it's only fitting that we start with this one, and that's because it is regarding Coolio. Now, I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this are aware that only a few days ago, Coolio sadly passed away. Now, the weird thing, perhaps, is about Coolio's death is only 5 months ago he came on to he did an interview wherein he seemed to be exposing in some way the Illuminati and the elite's control and perhaps nefarious influences within the music industry.
Julio was telling me about how a couple of, I'm not going to say no names, but some big top hats of the industry were coming at him, males, by the way, were coming at him asking for sex. They were coming at him talking about some child trafficking stuff, and we were going to expose it all.
There's a lot of shit I know that I want to tell people. It's a lot of things that I want to teach, but I'm afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm scared because I got 4 grandchildren, and I got children that are in this world. I got people I care about. The height of success that I had, and the things I was able to do, the amount of records I sold, and actually the amount of I don't want to say political power, but the amount of social power that I was able to achieve. You would think that I would be a prime candidate to be a member of the Illuminati or a member of the elite society or whatever. You would think that they would come at me, and I think they did. I've had motherfuckers come at me on some weirdo shit, like on some gay shit. I've had motherfuckers come at me on some, oh, you should do this type shit. And I was like, what? Man, why the fuck would I do that? Wow. It made no sense. I view that as being inhuman. I view that as I would never do that. I have no fear of death. If somebody's after me or if somebody's watching me, then they know enough about me to know that I have no fear of death. So killing me don't mean shit. It just confirms that what I said was true.
So tribute to Coolio, and also I love this song. This is one of my favorite all-time songs. I gangster out to this. The thing is I remember back when I made part 1 that I did come across this Mandela effect, and this may be a testament to my bad memory or even support the misremembering of facts of why Mandela effect occurs. So I remember the issue with Coolio's Gangster's Paradise is many people remember the chorus as being saying 4 times, been spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. This was repeated 4 times in every chorus. That is what the Mandela effect was meant to be the beginnings of that. So I can tell you it's not that, but I can see how people could get confused. I believe that the chorus that it currently is in this reality, perhaps is the real chorus. Check it out, guys. Okay, so it would seem that there's two different lines that are repeated twice to make up 4 lines of the chorus. And I think this explains why people are getting mixed up with what the words, and I did as well. You know, I'd always been singing it as been spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. However, that is not even a line of the chorus. It's an amalgamation, I believe, of what it actually is. So the first 2 lines, you know, they say been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. Been spending most their lives living in the gangster's paradise. And then it says keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Keep spending most our lives living in the gangster's paradise. But saying this, I thought it was a gangster's paradise. I thought it was been spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. But I think the difference of been spending most their lives and keep spending most our lives, that might be where the been spending most our lives have come from. It's the amalgamation of those 2 different variations. Living in the gangster's paradise, I always thought it was a gangster's paradise. Now, there's a few more lines where people have, you know, say they remember it differently. There is one that I definitely remember differently, and I've seen someone else mention this when I was just researching this. However, they don't remember it the same as me either, but they remember it being very different. And this one, it does not sound the same as the lyrics claim it is. Just check it out.
The situation they got me facing, I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team.
Okay, so it says, look at the situation they got me facing. I can live a normal life. I was raised by the... What does it say? You know, people saying it was raised by the state, raised by the stripe. I can live a normal life. I was raised by the... I thought it was I was raised by the strife. I mean, I suppose it makes sense. You know, strife is struggling. You know, he couldn't live a normal life. He struggled growing up. That kind of made sense to me. And it sounded like it to me, although you can't really hear what he says. What he certainly doesn't say, or I would say that, you know, you certainly can't hear, is what it claims that it actually was. And if it was this, then, you know, he certainly didn't pronounce it. You can't hear the actual word that, you know, it claims is, you know, it actually is. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the street. I'm going to play it one more time, and I'll leave it there. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Does it sound like I was raised in the street? I thought the way I always remembered it was, you know, sounds about right. I was raised by the strife. Let me know, guys.
I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood.
So here's a good one. The intro to the Disney films. I remember some of them having Tinkerbell from the Peter Pan movie. She flew around, you know, the intro that comes on with the, you know, Disney logo and stuff. And then Tinkerbell flew around the screen, and then with her wand, she dotted the I. I remember this very vividly. And apparently I'm not alone in this. Do you remember this? I remember Tinkerbell flying around, dotting the I. This apparently never happened. Although saying this, Tinkerbell was in a lot of these intros, but she never dotted the I. She may have flicked her wand and the Disney logo appeared, but she never dotted the I. For me, I mean, I am totally of the view that absolutely I have witnessed her dotting the I with her wand.
Walt Disney's Disneyland. When you wish upon a star.
So there you can see Tinkerbell is involved in a lot of these intros, and the apparent explanation is that people are having this false memory because they're mixing up a lot of these memories of Tinkerbell doing different things with her wand and introducing these different Disney movies, films, Disneyland, or whatever it may be. They're mixing up these things in their head, and they remember her dotting the I. That for me just doesn't seem. I get this. I think that it is a possible explanation, but why do I vividly remember her dotting the I of her wand? It seems like just that was real. Okay, now so after digging a little bit deeper into this one, I came across this. So, is this the explanation for why so many people around the world are remembering Tinkerbell dotting the I in the Disney intro? Well, from what I could find out about this particular intro, that actually it was exclusively used for the UK TV channel ITV back in 1986 to 1987. They had exclusive rights to show Disney on their channel, and this was the intro that was used apparently for all of those broadcasts. Now, there's a few things here. 1986 to 1987 was around the time that I was born. Now, I've seen somewhere else, there's very little that you can find out on the internet from what I could find out. And please, guys, let me know if you find out more. From my investigations, someone had said that it was used in the 80s and 90s. Therefore, I could have seen this, obviously, being from the UK and growing up in England. But then there's a few things wrong with that. Firstly, why do people the world over, lots of Americans, Canadians, etc., remember the same thing? If it was an exclusive intro for UK showings of Disney, then why would so many people the world over, as I say, especially in America, vividly remember Tinkerbell dotting the I? The other inconsistency is that everyone, including myself, seems to be of the view who have seen this clip that actually that is not what it looked like. Firstly, this clip was too old, too dated. In fact, Tinkerbell was in front of a blue back screen with the Disney castle behind it. As you can see in other clips of intros, including ones with Tinkerbell. So it was a newer version with the the kind of the blue background with a white outlined castle, and Tinkerbell hitting the dot of the I with her wand. That's what I vividly remember. I don't remember this clip at all, but it does show Tinkerbell dotting the I with her wand. Now, does this debunk the whole Mandela effect around Tinkerbell? I don't know, guys. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. But for me, this doesn't answer my memory, my either false memory or or maybe true memory of what I remember. Maybe there was another intro with Tinkerbell dotting the I with the blue background and everything else that was shown across the world that somehow has been lost in the archives. I don't know, guys. The jury's still out for me. But would I say this Mandela effect is debunked because we found her dotting the I in some instance? No. What do you think? Okay. So what about this one? And this is probably, if not the favorite of all time, one of my favorites of all time when it comes to musical genius. This song was so carefully crafted. It goes down alongside Beethoven, Mozart, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the lyrics to this song go, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Or does it? Now, check out, apparently, what it is.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. It's kind of like the whole living in the gangster's paradise or living in a gangster's paradise. Again, living in the Barbie world. It does not make sense compared to in a Barbie world. And I swear down it was always I'm a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. And that just totally, just to the ear, to the mind, makes much more sense to me. Does it to you? Do you remember it like I remember it? Let's take a look at some of the things we remember about our reality. Have a look at this world map. Does this look like what you remember it to be? What you remember you were taught in school? Does this look how you remember? Does South America look like it is in the location that feels familiar to you? It may do. For me, it doesn't. There's quite a few discrepancies for me in my memory about this map. One of them being the position of South America. As I said, it's too far east. I remember South America being directly under North America. I don't know, is it just my false memory? Because I know that a lot of people have expressed online that this doesn't seem right. Then if that's the case, why are so many cartographers, people that plan out these world maps, are experts in this field? If this is the truth, why have they not come forward to also say, hang on a minute, I'm an expert in this field, this doesn't look right to me? Is it a case of some may be experiencing this Mandela effect, but to not look like idiots, and to not have their career questioned, their expertise questioned, that they would keep quiet about this? Because in this new reality, this is the case. This is where the continents are positioned. So therefore, you wouldn't want to look an idiot. But I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far into the ifs, whats, and hows here. I remember very vividly, world maps are sitting there on the walls of classrooms all over the planet. In pretty much every country around the world, there is world maps posted on the wall of your classroom. You see them every day when you're at school and you're taught that the world is how it is. Now, I know that some countries are better than others with teaching geography. Another thing that I looked at was North America. The US looks a lot smaller on today's map, and I've seen some people comment that different maps of the world over time have been put forward, and many years ago, half a century ago, the US may have looked bigger on a map, and some people put that down to these maps coming from the US and trying to make the country look bigger and therefore more intimidating, especially in the Cold War era when you've got Russia being the size that it is. I remember South America being directly under North America. That for me was familiar. It's so far east on these apparent current world maps. If they kept going too much further, it would you'd be able to drive to Africa. Also, one thing I noted was the position of New Zealand, which is now below Australia and further away. When I remember it being kind of in line with Australia, and also closer, and maybe even slightly more vertical to the angle that the two islands are. Another thing that I noted, and I agree with, which some people have been saying, that there is no such country as Mongolia. It had been conquered by China centuries ago and was thus a land that was considered a part of China. Interesting. Greenland, looks massive now. I swear it was half the size. Africa was a lot bigger, by far bigger. It kind of dominated the map when it came to land mass. The island of Madagascar was smaller in my memory. I don't know, guys. What do you think about some of the things that I've said around what the current world map looks like? Do you agree with me on any of the points that I've just made from my what my memory is? Is it failing? Am I going crazy? Is a lot of the people that are talking about this online going crazy? When I saw this, it for me was one of the biggest confirmations that either my memory is really, really bad or the Mandela effect may have some stock behind it. Let me know what you think. The other thing that I noticed was the sun. Have you recently looked up at the sun the best that you can? Don't stare at the sun, by the way. It will damage your eyes. But it's incredibly white. I mean, incredibly white. And I swear that I lived in a reality where the sun was predominantly yellow. And yes, I know that the sun, it can have many colors, especially during dawn and dusk when the sun's going down or is rising. It can take on a yellowish color, a red color, an orange color. It definitely does look yellow in the sky at times. But I remember the sun being yellow. Now, is this a product of sort of growing up and kids when they draw the sun, they always draw it as yellow, a yellow circle with sunbeams coming out. Is this because usually when kids are doing these drawings, they're on white paper, and so therefore it's harder to depict a white sun? Possibly, but I do remember the sun looking up at the sun, not when it was dawn or dusk, and it being yellow or trying to look up at the sun. Am I going crazy on this matter too? Was the sun yellow? Is it now more white? Is it because there is a change in the sun or our atmosphere, and suddenly they've changed? Oh, but no, it was always white. You're going crazy. You're going mad. It was always white. It was never yellow. Is that the case? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Okay, so this one is offensive to my memory. There are many Mandela effects, it seems, in the Disney movies, and I've covered some of them before. But what about Jungle Book? Jungle Book is a fondly remembered movie that I watched as a child. And there's that scene where they end up at that temple with all the monkeys, and of course King Louis, who sings the song about man-made fire. They end up there, and Mowgli is getting tossed about by the monkeys, and King Louis wants to be more like you. But one of the points in that scene, Baloo, the bear, the big bear, he gets kind of dragged into the kind of song and dance, and he comes out and he pretends to be an ape, and he's wearing coconuts on his lips to look like an ape rather than a bear. Remember that? And a grass skirt. You remember? And he had coconuts as a bra. Or did he? Because apparently he never did. He never had these coconuts as a bra. I swear that I just remember this so vividly. It was part of what made the scene funny, coming out in a coconut bra. And apparently I'm not alone in this. Many other people remember it this way. Do you remember it this way? Did any of you watch Happy Days? Do you remember? Sunday, Monday, Happy Days. And you had Fonzie, the really cool guy in that, played by Henry Winkler, who, funnily enough, was in part one when he was asking about the fact that the quotes, beam me up Scotty from Star Trek, never happened.
Never said, beam me up Scotty.
Do you know that people all over the world in every language who watch Star Trek have said, beam me up, Scotty?
I know, never said it. Scotty, beam me up. Two to beam up. I mean, everything else but beam me up, Scotty. No.
So, yeah, Fonzie, the guy, the really cool guy, and he had this, really cool, kind of black leather jacket. It was set in the 50s, alongside other things like, Grease, the film. It was a time where a lot of people, greasers, or, you know, just looking at fashion, lots of people wore, you know, black leather jackets and had greased up hair. Fonzie would steal the scenes he was in, and he would enter really coolly with his black leather jacket, as I said. What if I told you that that leather jacket was never black? That it was, in fact, brown? Yeah, I'm not buying that. It was a black leather jacket. Now, am I confusing the similarities with Greece and the fact that a lot of teenagers and young adults at the time, it was the style, black leather jackets? Am I confusing that? Or was it the poor video quality of these shows, being that it was a 70s or 80s show that was set in the 50s? The video quality could affect that and could maybe make it look darker. I don't know. But for me, his leather jacket was always black. What's your guys' thoughts on that one? Okay, I really like learning about history. And the ancient Egyptians always fascinated me, especially, you know, what they left behind, their architecture, the pyramids, all amazing things. How were they built? The experts can't answer that with confidence to this day. Very fascinating civilization. And one of the things that is most popularly taught, especially in the curriculum in the UK, is probably the most famous pharaoh of all, Tutankhamun. Now, his tomb was discovered by Carter in the early 1900s. Of course, with it, many very valuable objects that were buried with him, including his coffin, with a very ornate coffin with, you know, the whole pharaoh hats, helmets, whatever you want to, mask, gold, very kind of rich coffin to be buried in. And, you know, his image, the image of his you know, face, is extremely well known the world over. And you know, I did projects in school. What threw me was, I always remember Tutankhamun's the head of that coffin, that ornate coffin, having a snake in the center of his head. Is that how you remember it? Because apparently the snake was never alone. There was two things on his head. Now, I know I keep saying this for everyone, but I mean, it's a Mandela Effect video of things that, you know, I remember differently. So, of course, I'm going to keep saying it. But that's not how I remember it. There was just a snake. There was not a bird next to the snake. There was not two objects in the center of his head. It was just a snake. Am I alone in this? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Are sweet dreams made of these? And who am I to disagree?
Recently on the television show Wheel of Fortune, a contestant had to solve a puzzle for a song lyric. Sweet dreams are made of blank. The contestant got it wrong and lost a potential $4,000 extra in winnings, but luckily went on to still win the episode. What was his answer? He said, "Sweet dreams are made of these." The correct answer is apparently sweet dreams are made of this. This caused a ton of confusion online, leading to multiple articles being written about not just this contestant losing, but also about how this lyric has been misheard for decades. The articles written didn't solely exist to make fun of the guy for saying the obviously wrong word in the puzzle. It's that even the writers of the article thought it was, "Sweet dreams are made of these."
Sweet Dreams is a very famous and familiar song that was released by the Eurythmics in 1983. A cover was later released by Marilyn Manson in 1995. I always sung it like that. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? These rhymes with disagree. The word this does not. So for me, it always made sense that those were the lyrics. Now, apparently, they are not, and never have been. And not even in the cover version by Marilyn Manson were the lyrics, "Sweet dreams are made of these." This has me stumped. Any of you out there who are familiar with this song, do you remember it how I remember it? Do you remember it how many, many people remember it and sing it to this day? Or were sweet dreams always made of this? Sweet dreams are made of these. Okay, the next Mandela effect that I've experienced is around a film called Scary Movie 2. Now, if any of you guys have seen Scary Movie, it's a funny film, you will remember this guy. You will remember him very well because of his little hand. He appeared in multiple scenes. One of them, he was trying to stuff a turkey or a chicken with his little hand. And there is another scene where there is a guy that's hanging on outside for his life. And this character comes to the rescue with his little hand. I always remember him saying, "Take my strong hand, child," as he puts his hand out the window, hoping that the guy that's whose life is in danger will grab onto that hand and be pulled to safety through the window. I remember this line vividly because as a kid, we would use this in many a joke. You know, we would recall this saying from that movie. But apparently he never said, "Take my strong hand." Let's see what he actually said.
Help! Here. Oh, take my hand. Ah! Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand. No, give me your other hand. Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand. No, get it away from me. Take it. Take my
Okay, so he says, "Take my little hand." I don't remember him saying, "Take my little hand." I don't remember that line. And before that, he said, "No, the other one's not strong enough." And I don't remember him saying that either. Has this changed? Because it would appear there's plenty of other people that remember it the same way that I do. There's so many memes out there. And if you look on forums discussing this movie, so many people quoting it as "Take my strong hand." So, yeah, once again, I'm absolutely baffled on this one. Let me know if you remember it how I remember it. Or let me know if you remember it exactly as it is shown in the clip. Interview with a Vampire. Great film starring Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, Tom Cruise, and Kirsten Dunst in her breakout role as a child actor. It was a great film about vampires. It was a very well put together movie based on a book written by Anne Rice that was published in 1976. It was about these two that were made into vampires in different time periods, and they came together and they made a young girl a vampire, which kind of made them a kind of family as they looked out for this new young girl vampire with of course, a thirst for blood. Anyway, Interview with a Vampire. Or was it? Or was it Interview with the Vampire? Now, I want to thank my good friend Kat for bringing this to my attention. Kat, as well as a gem of a friend, she has a YouTube channel that she shares with another one of my good gem friends, Caroline, called KC Grifter Removers. Basically, they have made lots of skits and parodies, quite like Intel Lady did, on exposing the ridiculousness of some of these, the grifters in the truther community. A shout out to them. And there's a link in the description to both their YouTube channel and their Facebook group. But let's show you what she brought to my attention. She puts forward a video that was posted by a content creator that its title was Interview with a Vampire. And it shows many, many, many instances of the celebrities, the actors involved in the film, even sometimes the writer of the book, Anne Rice. Although I would agree, looking at them, some of them, she definitely says the vampire. Most of these are all calling this film Interview with a Vampire, with the lettering being, with the A being in red, which is exactly how I remember it being.
I want to show you a video that I came across that is trying to prove that Interview with the Vampire has also been called Interview with a Vampire. Now, when you watch the first clip, it's David Letterman at an award show, and he clearly says Interview with a Vampire, and the content creator underneath has put subtitles saying Interview with a Vampire.
It's another blockbuster year for Hollywood, the motion picture Interview with a Vampire.
Elliot Goldenthal for Interview with a Vampire.
Hi, I'm Neil Jordan, and I'm here to introduce Interview with the Vampire, a movie about the saddest vampires you'll ever see.
I wanted Interview with the Vampire to be a
short story called Interview with the Vampire, and I kept it for about 2 years.
As far as I know, became the real hero of Interview with the Vampire.
Very much Interview with the Vampire, but I think we were very fortunate there to have a good director. And even though I loved Interview with the Vampire, that certainly wasn't my version of Interview. That was theirs. Vampire book, Interview with a Vampire, which was written near 20 years ago. That's right. But at the time I wrote Interview with the Vampire, certainly I was in a deep despair. You would know this was Interview with the Vampire. If you'd read it 15 years ago and barely remembered it, you'd recognize it.
I guess this...
You know, there are endless ways to do Dracula, and Interview with the Vampire, for me, was a door to reality. So I'm a great respecter of the vampire in popular art. You know, now Interview with the Vampire is going to change everything this weekend one way or another. It's either going to be a big hit or it's not. And your book, An Interview with the Vampire, is a very weird book.
Interview with the Vampire, as every good story probably had.
The Interview with the Vampire, because it's from Louis' point of view. You have to read the book Interview with the Vampire.
In art direction, art.
Interview with the Vampire. Tom Cruise plays the immortal vampire Lestat in Interview with the Vampire, one of the new movies we're going to be reviewing this week.
I've really shown you the best part of Interview with the Vampire. First film is the eagerly awaited Interview with the Vampire, and now it's finally time.
Interview with the Vampire, the world premiere.
I lost my heart.
Kirsten Dunst, Interview with the Vampire.
Performance in Interview with the Vampire.
Oh.
You probably don't.
They show Interview with the Vampire during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten, I loved you in Interview with the Vampire.
Thank you.
And the movie of Interview with the Vampire, very much.
Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. Vampire Lestat, Interview with the Vampire, and Queen of the Damned.
The film Interview with the Vampire opens today, and tonight Anne Rice's first novel, Interview with the Vampire, comes to the big screen.
I'm now going to show you a comment that was left where someone says that they remember once a year at Halloween printing up Interview with a Vampire. However, quite conveniently, they don't seem to have a copy of this to prove it.
Although I can't verify the authenticity of this witness, they say, I used to work at AGI Media. We used to print DVD covers and Blu-ray box sets, and I've helped and printed them myself. Interview with a Vampire, and the A in the title was special red and looked a bit like a fang with a drip of blood coming off of it. I've probably printed about 2 million of them over the nearly 10 years. It comes out every Halloween, and I remember making sure that the red in the A was the right colour. I know what I remember, but it seems to have gone. I can't find a copy on the web anywhere. I don't know, in my memory, in my head, this film, if someone asked me about it before I even investigated this Mandela Effect, it was Interview with a Vampire. And for some reason, even though it was a film that cost millions to make, and it was a whole big thing, and the actors were all involved in this, it would seem they're all calling it Interview with a Vampire. Why is this? Is this residue left over from an alternative timeline somehow? Or is it just simply that not only are, myself and the viewers not that observant, are, say, misremembering, like mispronouncing, whatever it may be, the title of the film and the book, is it because so many people have done that it's drummed into our memory as Interview with a Vampire? But then why the remembrance, especially for me, the vivid memory of the letter A being in red? I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for this one, apart from it's strange, and it's another one of those Mandela effects, in my opinion. Anyone remember there being a robber emoji? I was lucky enough to grow up in an age where mobile phones weren't a thing when I was a kid, until I was maybe a late teenager. Not only that, social media wasn't a thing until I was an adult. I come from a time of dial-up modems and those weird sounds you heard. And also, AOL Messenger, MSN Messenger. I remember that. Chat rooms, ASL, anyone? If you can give me your ASL, put that in the comments below. But these Gen Zs and even a lot of the millennials don't even know what ASL means. Why do I remember this emoji? I'm no expert. I use them to this day, and I'm sure many of you out there do. But why is this robber emoji so familiar to me? Emojis is something that I do use. Though I'm no expert, I think I know them well. Now, there's over 3,500 emojis. So yeah, I like to be down with the kids, and I think that I know emojis. And this robber emoji, and it was one with a accepted cartoon-like prison outfit of a black and white striped top with a beanie, and of course a eye mask, and having a swag bag over the shoulder. a bag full of money over the shoulder. Now, I remember there being an emoji like this. And I know that I'm not alone, and not even just in my kind of generation pool. I know that people older than me also remember this emoji. Where did it come from? Now, people have tried to debunk this whole Mandela effect by saying it was in the BitLife game. What the hell is the BitLife game? I'm too old for that. It would maybe seem. So where does it come into my consciousness, and where does it come into people's consciousness that are older than me? There was an emoji like that. That is. I was shocked to find out that never existed. And when I saw a representation of what it may look like, I was like, yeah, that exists. Britney Spears, the late 90s. I mean, she was on top of the world. She was killing it. Perhaps the most famous pop star at the time. She was a pin-up model. And I mean, literally. I remember going around my best friend's house and in his room, although he wasn't one of these to have explicit posters of almost, pornographic material. Britney Spears was on his wall, big spread there with a image of a scene of her most and very famous song at the time, Hit Me Baby One More Time. And in that, she's wearing a schoolgirl outfit. I remember it made an impact on me. Being that I was just moving up to secondary school at the time, she was wearing this school outfit, and obviously she was clearly she was older than, or maybe just passable for secondary school age in UK terms. She was wearing the schoolgirl outfit and her skirt. What do you remember her skirt looking like? It was a plaid skirt, right? Was it a red plaid skirt, or was it a green plaid skirt? I can tell you now that it was a simple and plain black skirt. This threw me off.
Exactly the same. But you remember the schoolgirl outfit, right? Well, she's channeled that outfit in a new post on Instagram.
First
she
of
wrote,
all her Instagram, she's everywhere.
She's definitely kicked it up a notch. She said, I went shade shopping today, but found nothing.
Oh,
oh well, but I did find a nice bracelet.
Okay, so not only has this caused major controversy over internet forums worldwide, but Britney Spears seems to be the center of more Mandela Effect controversy for her other most famous single, Oops, I Did It Again.
In the 2000 music video for the song Oops, I Did It Again, Britney Spears dances and sings along to her song while wearing a very memorable skin-tight red outfit. The Mandela Effect here is regarding her headset microphone. An unbelievable amount of people online remember this microphone, but as of now, it doesn't exist. People have scoured the internet looking for residue and proof of its existence. And you know what? A lot has been found. Some of the first things found were photos of people who dressed up as Britney Spears for Halloween or costume parties. Of these many photos, quite a few of them are wearing the red outfit and the now missing headset microphone as part of their costume. It's strange that these people who went all in on getting the look just right accidentally included a headset microphone that she apparently never wore. Weird, right? More interesting still is that the officially released Oops, I Did It Again doll of Britney Spears that released in 2000 also had a headset microphone. It's a weird detail to include considering the original music video apparently never had a headset microphone. It's just everyone seems to think it did for some reason. So next we have a collectible Funko Pop figure of Britney Spears in her red outfit making a pose. This pop figure was first released January 2021. We have a toy from when the music video was originally released with a headset mic, and now a new toy many years later without one, meaning the Mandela Effect happened sometime between those 20 years. Or everyone is misremembering the music video and she never had a headset microphone. Everyone is wrong, the dolls are wrong, the costumes are wrong, all the thousands of comments on internet threads, and an episode titled Picture Day, released in 2001. Lizzie McGuire dressed as Britney Spears from the Oops, I Did It Again music video, complete with a headset mic.
It'd be so oops, I did it again. Mom,
look like Britney for at least 5 more years.
It isn't a strange action to adjust a headset microphone during intense choreography, or while moving around performing. But it is strange for your hand to adjust a headset microphone that isn't there. So let's take a look at that and tell me what you think.
I don't know. It seems like another big case of a Mandela effect to me. I think I'll leave it there for this one. Now, guys, let me know. Would you like to see a part 3, another part just like this one? If you'd like to see me continuing to report on this subject, would you prefer that I did it in YouTube short form, where I report on one thing at a time? Or are you fed up with me talking about this subject entirely? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I have to say, I really do enjoy covering this subject, and I would like to do more. And I have plenty more that I've noted down to cover. So let me know. Do you want to see more of this? Now, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting this channel. Seriously, you can support me by just watching and viewing my content, liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to go one step further, there is a link in the description where you can support me even more. And when you do so, I really do see that, I really do acknowledge that, and I really do appreciate all the support you give my channel. Let me know what you think, guys. Put it in the comments below. And until next time, follow MC Truth. Good night.